Hello, welcome back to another breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd, and you are watching Boyd News. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. I've got a breaking news report coming out for the United States. We're going to talk about U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio in today's video. We're also going to talk about the Trump administration as well, as I have some reports I want to share with you guys that indicates more that the Trump administration is going to side with the Russians in this war against Ukraine, and they're more focused on a trade deal with the Russians more than trying to end the war. So we're going to talk about this. I have a new report here on your screen. Marco Rubio refuses to call Vladimir Putin a war criminal during hearing. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio failed to call Vladimir Putin a war criminal, but he acknowledged Russia as an aggressor state. This was according to a statement at a hearing in the House Foreign Affairs Committee. So this is the video I'm going to show you guys. This is going to be Bill Keating. This is him right here on the screen. And he's a U.S. congressman out of the U.S. House of Representatives. And speaking to Marco Rubio, he tries to press him and get him to agree and state that Vladimir Putin is a war criminal, and he completely refuses to do so. And on top of that, I've been showing you guys some reports that came out earlier today in our last video that the Trump administration is just more focused on a trade deal right now with the Russians than they are to end this war. So it possibly indicates that very soon the Trump administration might pull out of negotiations between Ukraine and Russia, might even leave Ukraine high and dry, leaving them with no support here very soon over the next month or two. And Ukraine might have to fight this war on their own against Russia with only the backing of the EU. So it's creating a lot of destabilization right now and a lot of issues. And I want to show you guys all these reports coming out today. Some of them we did go over during our update video with the Russia-Ukraine war this morning, but I want to show you some of these posts in depth. So let's start off here with Kate from Kharkiv. Rubio is unable to call Putin a war criminal after bombed hospitals, churches, playgrounds, destroyed cities, uncovered mass graves, and torture chambers. The International Criminal Court's arrest warrant for mass abduction of children, the Kakhovka dam destruction, and God knows what else. This perfectly illustrates where we are. You need to talk and trade with Putin, looking at the war crimes but choosing not to see, just like after Crimea and Donbass, just like after Georgia and Syria. Always as long as it's others who pay the price of ignorance. We are where we always were, letting us rot for you to live unbothered. So very serious statement coming out from Kate from Kharkiv today. She actually lives in Kharkiv in Ukraine, which is a city in northeastern Ukraine that's battered almost every day by Russian drones. Take a look at this video, guys.
Is Russia the aggressor in this Ukraine war?
Yeah, Russia invaded Ukraine.
So they are the aggressor in this war, correct?
They invaded them, yes.
Well, thank you, sir, because it's important to get this clarity, because President Donald Trump said it was Ukraine that started this war, and our allies have the right to know this. Secondly, the person we're negotiating with, Vladimir Putin, is he a war criminal?
Well, I think you can look at instances that have happened there and certainly characterize them as war crimes, but our intent is to end the war.
Is he a war criminal?
We can't end the war without talking to
No,
Mr. Putin.
that's pretty simple. Is he a war criminal?
Well, that's
this man we're negotiating with, Vladimir Putin. Is he a war criminal? That's not tough.
But what? I'm trying to answer your question by telling you that we're trying to end the war here.
Go ahead.
No, it's not a simple answer.
You are equivocating, sir. Just answer the question.
I'm answering your question, and the answer is that war crimes have been committed, no doubt. And who's responsible for that? There will be time and place for that accountability. But right now, the job is to end the war.
So you won't answer the question.
If we don't end the war, people are going to get
reclaiming
killed.
my time, sir. Let me go on.
All right, so pretty heated exchange here between Bill Keating and Marco Rubio, and we can see clearly Marco Rubio does say that Russia is an aggressor. They invaded Ukraine, but refusing to state that Vladimir Putin, who launched this invasion into Ukraine, is a war criminal, and stating that in the future, will there be war crimes that will be investigated? Yes, but again, refusing to state that Vladimir Putin has anything to do with this. So clearly we can see the Trump administration really trying to maintain ties together. And from what we understand, a lot of this has to do with trade deals that are expected to be coming between Russia and the U.S. in the future. So absolutely insane that that is prioritized. So now check out this from Max 24. The U.S. can no longer solve all the world's problems. This was according to Marco Rubio today as well. Now, I don't know if he stated this during that same hearing while he was speaking to Bill Keating, but allegedly this is something that he stated today, so I'm assuming it happened at the hearing, just maybe not while he was speaking to Bill Keating. But yeah, he allegedly said that the U.S. can no longer solve the world's problems. So I wonder if that's the beginning of the Trump administration pulling out soon and saying, well, you know what, we're not going to be able to help out Ukraine anymore and Russia in these negotiations. I think somebody else is going to be stepping in here very soon. Will it be China or some other nation? We'll have to see. But that's a very big statement indicator that the U.S. is pulling out soon as well. Now take a look at this insane report from Jürgen Noddet. The U.S. no longer insists on a ceasefire in Ukraine. This was according to Bild magazine. The publication states that Trump's decision was a severe blow to German Chancellor Friedrich Merz. He had previously issued a public ultimatum to Moscow, promising to work with Trump to do everything possible to support Ukraine, including expanding sanctions. But now it appears there will be no support from Washington. Merz and other European heads of state and government, including Emmanuel Macron and Donald Tusk, are left without allies. Now, not only the effectiveness of European foreign policy is at stake, but also the personal authority of the new German chancellor. If promised measures are never implemented, this could be Merz's first serious foreign policy failure. So Jürgen Noddet's bringing up Friedrich Merz, the German chancellor, when it comes to this story, is because Friedrich Merz stated recently that they were going to slam Russia with major sanctions all throughout many different European partners, but coming from Germany. And if the Trump administration happens to pull out here and they no longer insist on a ceasefire, as it's kind of claiming here, this means that the U.S. might not back these sanctions, which we're already hearing that as well. And Germany may not come out and slam Russia with these sanctions because they may need the U.S.'s support to do so. So this is not good news, okay? So everything the Trump administration is choosing to do right now is just sabotaging all of this in terms of really putting pressure on Russia, hitting them with sanctions, forcing them to end this war and whatnot. We're seeing a complete flip-flop here once again. Trump siding back with the Russians, the entire Trump administration doing the same thing, just like Marco Rubio stated at that House of Foreign Affairs Committee hearing. Now from KVist, he says, WTF. This is a little post from Politico today. This was a new article, and it says, U.S. objects to supporting Ukraine in G7 statement. The U.S. is opposed to including further support for Ukraine in a G7 statement that is being hashed out by finance ministers in Canada. Washington is also reluctant to describe Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine as illegal in the text. Two officials involved in the negotiations told our colleague Gregorio Sorgi, who has a story for Defense and FinServ Pros. Okay, so two major things here, okay? U.S. is opposed to including further support. This was in a statement to the G7, okay, G7 statement. And also, on top of that, they refuse to describe Russia's full-scale invasion as illegal, as it states here, okay? So again, they are completely 100% siding with the Russians here. I feel like they're really going to leave Ukraine high and dry very soon, not going to continue military aid. I mean, we've already heard in the past, several months ago, from the House Speaker, Mike Johnson. He's already come out and stated that that no more future aid to Ukraine will be heading over there from the U.S. All of the aid that's going to Ukraine right now was under the Biden administration, and from what we understand, that's supposed to run out sometime by summer, maybe in the next month or two. Okay, so just expect things to get really wild over here very soon as the U.S. is really starting to pull away now. Now from Roman Shermeta. Trump has become a silent accomplice to Russia's war crimes. He broke every promise he made during his campaign. Instead of stopping the war, he sided with Russia. Yeah, think about that. Look at this. Trump refuses to support sanctions on Russia, seeking business deals with Putin, according to the New York Times. So yeah, imagine before Trump was even elected, people elected him partly because he also stated he was going to end this war in Ukraine, end the war in Gaza, okay? And for example, in Ukraine, he said he would have this war wrapped up before he was even president. And then he said he would have it wrapped up on day one. Then he said he would have it wrapped up in 100 days and 3 months. And now it's been 5 months, almost 6 months. We're not seeing any end to this war. And then on top of that, he's now seeking business deals with Russia versus, siding with Ukraine, trying to end this war. And it's just absolutely insane what we're seeing here, guys. And I'm sure a lot of people are going to be very upset with this news, but I want to share it with you and get it out there so that way you're aware of this. So now from Ukraine business news, the U.S. has not halted its provision of weapons to Ukraine, but there has been no decision thus far on the possibility of forming new aid packages, said Marco Rubio. He added that the U.S. is instead collaborating with NATO allies to supply Ukraine with Patriot batteries. So this information actually did come out yesterday, and I brought it up briefly during a few of our videos yesterday, but I want to throw this in here also, stating that the U.S. is not working on any new aid packages for Ukraine. Now, they are working with NATO partners to see if any NATO countries want to send over extra Patriot batteries, that maybe if they have one or two that they'd like to send to Ukraine, maybe they can do that. But the U.S. has no spare Patriot batteries for Ukraine right now. And they're not planning any further military support for Ukraine. So crazy news, guys. Finally, one last thing to share with you here from Military News UA. Trump on potential new sanctions against Russia. It will be my decision, not anyone else's. We're at a critical moment. I spoke with President Putin for 2.5 hours. This was a statement by Trump yesterday as well, while he was speaking to reporters in the White House. So he's stating here that they're at a critical moment. They're not going to announce any sanctions on Russia for right now. It's really up to him. And we know that the main reason, at least according to Donald Trump, the main reason why he's not supporting sanctions on Russia right now is because him and also Marco Rubio stated they believe that it will sabotage negotiations for a trade deal. Okay, so now I understand that, but at the same time, there's a massive war going on in Europe. People are dying every single day, and even himself, Trump has stated that he wants to save the Ukrainians and Russian fighters that are lives are being lost every single day over in this war. That he states there's like 2,000 or 5,000 soldiers a day that are dying in this war. If that's really the case and he really cares about saving these people's lives, I would think that the trade deals would be put on hold for right now and this war would be prioritized first, but we're not seeing that, guys. So just wanted to share this information with you, get you the real news out there and the truth of what's really going on in between this war and how the Trump administration feels about being involved in these negotiations and the fact that they're completely 100% supporting Russia and more focused on a trade deal than trying to end this war and stop the brutal attack of the Russians striking Ukraine every single day. So let me know what you think about all these details down below. That's going to be it for today's update. If you got something out of this, please smash that like button. Also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing down below. Hit the notification bell. That way YouTube can notify you. With that, hope you all have a great day. Everybody take care and God bless, and we'll see you in the next one.